What's going on with the Shield vs. Evolution storyline, and how long is John Cena vs. Bray Wyatt gonna last? Plus, Daniel Bryan's injured, so what happens to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? That and much more right now on Rope Break Radio.
Rope Breakers, what's going on? Welcome to episode 4 of Rope Break Radio. It's our podcast, and we thank you for listening, especially to those diehard fans that, we've got probably about 5 of them that seem to really be tuning in every week, checking out everything we do on the Facebook page, everything we do on the site. We really, really, really appreciate your guys' support. And to those that maybe haven't listened, well, what the hell have you been waiting for? This is the podcast to be listening to. That's all I got to say about that. Nobody else is doing giveaways. Nobody else has got a badass site. This is the place to be. It's ropebreakwrestling.com, Rope Break Wrestling on Facebook, and at Rope Break Wrestling on Twitter. Today we are going to cover a couple different topics, kind of a little different than we normally go about things. Usually we'll kind of recap Raw and, I'll give you my thoughts about that. Maybe we'll answer some questions. Today I think we're going to go straight for the questions, and then we're going to kind of discuss some of the current storylines that are going on, and obviously the elephant in the room that is Daniel Bryan's neck injury and what WWE should do from there. Let's start off with some questions here. We got some interaction on our Facebook page, finally. Once again, 2 people that have been showing a lot of interest and a lot of support to our page, to our site, Robert Lucas, Johannes Butel. They're helping us out as always, and they're sending in some questions. First off, Robert Lucas asks, I'd like to hear some discussion on the title situation. I know this would be addressed either way. Thanks for giving us the credit there, Rob. But what options do they have? Do they strip Daniel Bryan or wait out to see his recovery? How can you hold the pay-per-view without the title being defended? Could they really build up to some match/tournament in 2 weeks if need be? Well, Rob, thanks for the question. You're right, we would have covered this topic anyways, but you bring up some good sub-questions there about the tournament, about, do they need to have the title defended at the pay-per-view? Do they strip Daniel Bryan or do they wait it out? Well, you're going to have to wait it out just a little bit longer in the podcast because that's our main event there. But Johannes Butel, he wants to hear a discussion about the Wyatt Cena situation, and what Johannes thinks needs to happen is an I Quit match between Bray Wyatt and John Cena. And we'll start off with that one right there. I believe that's a pretty good avenue to go there. Only question is, what happens? We know John Cena's track record in I Quit matches. I mean, really the match that brought John Cena into, main event fame is that very famous, very bloody match, the I Quit match with JBL at Judgment Day. I believe it was 2005. Go check that out on the network if you got that. That is a classic match. That is a John Cena match there before everybody was really getting behind him. A really awesome match. I don't know. Cena scares me at this stage in his career, and, I know people will be out there saying, just another Cena hater, just an IWC smark. I say it every week. It's not like that. I was once a John Cena fan, and I could be again very easily if he just changed it up a little bit. It's just very, very stale to me. John Cena, his whole gimmick right now is like a bag of chips that has been sitting open on the counter for, 7 or 8 years now. It's just stale, out of control. As far as an I Quit match goes, that'd be an awesome match to see, but the only way I would want to see it is if Bray Wyatt were to go over. And I think that we're in the point in the feud where Wyatt is going to have the better of Cena, but I could still see them closing the feud out with hustle, loyalty, and respect and never giving up, coming out on top. Hopefully, there is some kind of heel turn in the cards here. I'm not sure there is, to be perfectly honest with you. It's kind of like the CM Punk situation. We're all waiting around. When will Punk come back? When will Cena turn heel? Both of them might never happen. It's very possible that both of those things do not happen ever. It's very possible that they both do happen. And wouldn't that be a story to tell if they both happened at Payback? I doubt it. But hey, wishful thinking as we always do here. A match that I kind of want to see between these two, though, is, some kind of backstage brawl or some kind of gimmick match with Undertaker. I know Undertaker and Bray Wyatt are not similar gimmicks. They're both kind of dark and demonic gimmicks, but other than that, nothing in common. But I think something that's really helped Undertaker's career over the years was his gimmick matches, him participating in Buried Alive matches, Hell in a Cell matches, Inferno matches. Those are the types of things that are just, with a gimmick like that, a dark gimmick, those matches can really get a talent over. I don't think I Quit match is necessarily the avenue to go with Bray Wyatt. I think it would be a good option if Wyatt went over, but I'd like to see some kind of match that Bray Wyatt kind of makes his own. Similar to the way the Hell in a Cell match became Undertaker's, saving grace. The Buried Alive matches in his early days were kind of his big thing. I would like to see some kind of match that really suits Bray Wyatt and that he just can't be stopped in. And I'm not sure Steel Cage is the way to go. I'm not sure that there's a match that's created now that's a way to go. I think maybe they've got to come up with something new, something fresh. But I think he needs a clean win without the Wyatt family getting involved. And either way, if that happens, I'll be a happy camper. The second part of Johannes' question is he asked us if Dolph Ziggler was going to team up with Summer Rae against Fandango and Layla. Interesting subject to cover there. Kind of a mid-card topic. We don't always get around to those mid and lower card questions. So it's cool that Johannes brought that up. I would say that's probably a pretty good idea, although I'm just not really sold on Summer Rae at this point. I know a lot of people think, she's smoke and she's hot. I disagree, but that doesn't really cloud my judgment on her as a performer. I don't think she's really anywhere near Layla right now as far as in-ring ability goes. Then again, we really haven't seen her in action that often, so I can be completely wrong. I also think that Ziggler needs to stay away from the female valets. He's had Vicky, he's had AJ. It's kind of just time for him to do his own thing, but it seems like they like sticking some kind of obnoxious woman with him at any and all times. So I definitely can see that happening, and I would like a feud between Ziggler and Fandango, both pretty good in-ring talents. I think a feud there would be pretty interesting. Moving on, I want to cover the whole controversy with Alexander Rusev and his demolition of the African-American talents in the WWE. It's kind of become a big, I don't want to say talking point because it's not like everybody's, taking it really seriously. It's kind of more like a coincidence. We've heard people in the past complain about the lack of African-American champions in the WWE, and Alexander Rusev is just running like a train through basically every ethnic talent that is in the WWE, which is ironic because he's ethnic himself, or supposed to be Bulgarian. I'm pretty sure he is Bulgarian. The funny thing here is, and I saw a meme online with our buddies over at WWE Memes on Facebook, they had a meme up of, Rusev defeating the various African-American talents, and then the picture that was on Instagram of Rusev and Lana both wearing Clippers gear. How ironic that picture, surfaces along with this, sort of controversy. He's got to be a Clippers fan. He's in it with Donald Sterling. Maybe that's the next pick showing up on the Titantron alongside Putin. Either way, I wanted to first say, last night I really liked the booking. I liked having Hacksaw Jim Duggan out there in the ring. I think that got Rusev a lot of heat there for Lana to come out and interrupt Hacksaw and the whole USA thing. Perfect. That's what it's supposed to be about right there. Nice way to plug Legends House because they have to do that. They've got to get buy rates on the network up. and a good way to get Rusev some cheap heat, like I said. I like a potential feud between Big E Langston and Rusev, but I think Big E Langston is the one that needs to go over more so than Rusev does. I think Big E Langston is really at risk now of, being falling on the card pretty far. There's a possible heel turn in the works for him, as some rumors, some dirt sheets have gone out and said John Cena really wants to work with Big E Langston when he's completed his Bray Wyatt feud. Not sure how I feel about that. Obviously, we know the two are backstage buddies, big lifting guys. But back to Rusev. I was going to say Russo. Thank God I didn't say Russo. Back to Rusev. Sparks an interesting question. Should the WWE bring back like a Nation of Domination type faction? I think it's not going to happen. I think there's no way it happens, but it's a pretty interesting thing to think about, because I think it could work, especially with Big E, at the center of a feud with Rusev, and then you've got the two guys that Rusev just demolished, R-Truth and Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston, who's also been getting beat up by him in the past couple weeks. I think you stick those four guys together, have the three kind of rallying around Big E. That helps get Big E over, helps get the other guys some TV time, and also, continue to get Rusev some heat. I think you could have Xavier Woods and R-Truth as put them in the tag, or actually, you know what? Screw that. I would probably go with Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston as a tag team. That wouldn't be a half bad tag team if they were in the same faction there. R-Truth, I think, is kind of more suited for like a U.S. title feud. Not winning, of course, not winning, but something along those lines down the road. I think he's out of the tag team and main event style picture at this point. But I'm kind of interested to hear what you guys have to say about that, about a possible Nation of Domination rerun, so to speak, or if you think that they should come up with some sort of faction at all. Any ideas are welcome. We like to see your memes and, the different little ideas that you guys come up with. That sparks our curiosity. And, whatever happens, I'm open to anything as long as Lana keeps getting TV time. Now, apparently people backstage are having second thoughts and questioning the debut of Adam Rose. This kind of has me scratching my head, and I'm not really sure what to make of it. Kind of interested to hear what you guys think. Again, as usual, I'm always interested to know what you guys think about the first 2 weeks of Adam Rose, and do you think that he's dropped the ball, or do you think maybe WWE's dropped the ball? Because that's what I think personally. I was there in Albany when he made his debut. There's a couple little nitpicky things that I've got to say about Adam Rose, and that's one, you can't throw a guy in a feud with Jack Swagger and expect people to really give a shit. I mean, let's be honest. Jack Swagger has never really been a guy that can really, really spark interest out of a crowd. Yes, he's got Zeb with him now, but don't really think that was the right feud for Adam Rose coming out of NXT. I think another problem with him, and this is the nitpicky thing here, but his theme song, we love it. Everybody loves it. The da-da-da-da-da, blah, 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 blah. The problem is, after the initial Indian music that plays for whatever reason that makes zero sense, guy's not Indian. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong if that's not Indian, but that sounds like some kind of snake in a basket music coming out of the original theme song. And then when the real theme song hits, there's a whole verse of lyrics before it actually gets to the part where the crowd can join in. That's a fail for me right there. Why do they even have those lyrics that nobody knows? Because I know, as a fan in the crowd, I was ready to chant, da 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 da. But I had to wait a whole verse of lyrics, and the guy was practically at the ring before that part of the song even hit. As far as his in-ring ability goes, nobody has an effing clue yet, because they're doing the whole Fandango, Alexander Rusev BS, where they have the guy come out on TV for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, without getting in the ring. That immediately, if you're trying to sell a guy as a face, that's not a good thing. It was good for Fandango because everybody was getting pissed. He was getting heat because he wouldn't get in the ring and fight. But with Adam Rose, it's like, why is this guy not getting in the ring and fighting? This whole party crap is getting old real fast. I wasn't a real fan of Adam Rose's gimmick to begin with, but I'll give it a chance because he's a pretty good in-ring talent. But let's see if they even bother showing his in-ring talent or if they just have him as another Fandango, dance around all over the place, get in the ring, get your ass whooped, and get out. Hopefully that's not the case. Speaking of getting out, Alicia Fox, Paige, good match last night, great match last night. My problem with Alicia Fox, yes, she cut I won't say a pipe bomb, but she had a pretty good temper tantrum there at the end of the match. That was really well done. Haven't seen that kind of flair out of the Divas division in a while. Only problem with Alicia Fox is the same old effing moves in the ring. It's like she does that, what is it, a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker like 7 times every single match. It's boring. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And the announce team is continuing to fail selling Paige's matches. Michael Cole, not a single person on the announce team last night, yelled Paige Turner when she hit her finishing maneuver. I mean, that's just a huge drop of the ball to me. She's getting her ass whooped all match by Alicia Fox. Then she finally hits her finisher. They don't even say the finisher's name out loud. That's the type of shit that really, really, really gets me angry. Just flat out upsetting. And that's why I think it's time for Tom Phillips and Byron Baxton to get their asses in the Raw announce. Interested to know what you guys think about the announcing situation. Yeah, we love JBL, but even he gets annoying sometimes. And King and Michael Cole are on the verge of being unbearable. It's almost to the point where I want to mute my TV and call the match myself. Because when I have somebody over and we're watching the match, I've usually got a couple people here that aren't diehard wrestling fans that are maybe just getting into it or whatever. And it feels like half the time I'm giving these people tips and pointers about the match that the effing announce crew is supposed to be giving them, not me. But I guess I'll stop tooting my own horn. Good match between Alicia Fox and Paige. Hopefully the announce crew can start getting Paige over as far as, at least selling her finishing move, for Christ's sake. And let's see where that storyline with Alicia Fox and Paige goes. I'm not sure if it's going to lead to a title match. I think at this point that's probably the smart thing to do because they've gone on for a couple weeks here. And if that's the case, Alicia Fox made great progress with the little TV time that she had. Because I think originally they were just going to throw her out there for Paige to whip her ass and then on to the next diva. Maybe Oksana could come in and kick Paige in the face. And then she'll be out for a couple months. But that kind of leads us into That leads me into the Shield versus Evolution storyline. We saw, it's really coming to a head on Raw. Last night we had a couple different instances where the Shield came and whipped Evolution's ass. And we had those words there that I've been waiting for. Seth Rollins, I believe it was, saying that Evolution just can't evolve anymore. That right there is kind of the setup for them to add another person into Evolution. Question is, when the hell does Batista go and do his movie shit? Probably after Payback. But, very, very curious to see what goes on with Evolution, because we've heard the rumors of Sheamus, aka Shitmas, joining Evolution. I think that would be a huge mistake. A huge, huge, huge mistake. A gimmick guy doesn't really belong in that stable. The whole Irish fella crap, regurgitated garbage, does not belong in the suit-wearing, sophisticated, better-than-you Evolution style. Now, the only gimmick that I could really see going into Evolution and, having it be beneficial for both sides, and I'm probably in the minority here, but if you think about it, I think it would make sense, is Bo Dallas. They want to get this guy over as a heel, and sticking him in Evolution right off the rip would be a great way to do it. He's got the look. If he were to suit up, he's got the look to be a part of Evolution as far as I'm concerned. He's also the future. We're not talking an afterthought like Sheamus. Yeah, guys, the U.S. title. But how many people ascend to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, or the WWE and World Heavyweight Championships, and then a couple years later find themselves U.S. champions? Sheamus was one of those guys that peaked too fast, and his peak is long over. He's not going to be a main eventer in my eyes any longer. So there's no sense in putting him in Evolution. I think the smart thing to do would be throw Bo Dallas in there, because I think down the road you could have a good Seth Rollins, Bo Dallas feud or something like that. Maybe Ambrose, whatever. Interested to know what you guys think about that. What do you guys think? If you had to pick one person to join Evolution, current roster or NXT, who do you think would benefit the most from joining Evolution? And Evolution would still have to benefit as well. We don't want to delegitimize Evolution by adding Yoshitatsu in there. So think about it. Who would be perfect for the role? And what do you guys think about Bo Dallas? Do you think I'm effing crazy? Because I want to know either way. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's going to be the main event. Robert Lucas's question. We're going to answer it, and we're going to talk about Daniel Bryan's neck injury and the WWE World Heavyweight Championship possibilities. Keep it locked. It's Rope Break Radio Episode 4.
Rope Break Radio is brought to you by AA Digital Design and Film Production. When you need a power source for your project, AA is the only way. To find out how to sponsor the podcast, email us at AuSSy@RopeBreakWrestling.com. Now, here's AuSSy.
All right, we're back after a quick sabbatical there, and we are going to go ahead and revisit Robert Lucas's question about Daniel Bryan and the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Once again, Robert asked, what options do they have as far as the belt goes? Do you strip Daniel Bryan or wait it out to see his recovery? And how can the pay-per-view be held without the title being defended? Could they really build up to some match/tournament in 2 weeks if need be? Great. Not only the first question, obviously everybody's wondering what's going to happen with the belt, what's going to happen with Bryan. But a couple really good sub-questions there as far as what they do with the belt, what they do with the pay-per-view, and, the title picture as a whole. So, I'm going to first off tell you what I think they're going to do. And of course, this is all just speculation. I'm no different than you guys, just an average Joe out here making predictions. It could be right, it could be, really wrong, which it probably will be. But I think WWE is probably going to go the route. They're going to wait it out, see what happens on Thursday with the surgery. The surgery is successful. It was as minor as they had thought it to be. He's only out 6 to 8 weeks or so. I bet they keep the strap on him. Now remember, he can probably still come back and do TV, just not as far as matches go. He won't be able to do anything in the ring. He should still be able to come back, cut promos, still be in a storyline, similar to the way Stone Cold Steve Austin did with his neck injury. Now, it still remains to be seen if they decide to go that route or if they decide to make Bryan, disappear and then have a huge return at SummerSlam or wherever they're planning on having him return. My guess is they're going to check on the surgery. If all goes according to plan, he's out 6 to 8 weeks. They keep the strap on him somehow, some way. They'll come up with some type of creative way to get that by with the viewers. Now, should that surgery have some complications or they find something else or the doctor says he's got to be out a little bit longer, then I think we see some kind of stripping or storyline swerve where Bryan gets screwed out of the belt, which I kind of think is the right way to go anyways. I know a lot of people are like, oh, don't strip him, don't screw him out of the belt. This is one avenue that they have to keep that authority angle going with Bryan getting screwed out of the belt yet again. I think it could work. But again, that remains to be seen. A good point was brought up by Kyle Colohan, who is a writer on RopeBreakWrestling.com. He said What he basically asked was, are we expected to just ignore the whole fact that WWE does have a rule? It's like a 30-day rule where if the champion's out 30 days, he's stripped of the belt. Now, we're definitely expecting him to be out about 30 to 90 days or so, something like that, around there. So a question that Kyle posed was, do they man up and be a company of their word? Or do they kind of sneak it under our nose and, just keep the strap on Bryan? I don't think it really matters either way because it's WWE, it's drama, it's written television. I don't think they need to abide by rules as if it were the NBA playoffs or something like that. I think they can kind of do whatever the hell they want, and they will. They've proven it in the past. Here's what I think should happen. I think there should be a stripping of the belt by the Authority. I think there should be a tournament to decide the champion, or a tournament on Raw to see who faces Kane, or whatever way they want to go at it. I think this would be a good way to get somebody else in the spotlight while Daniel Bryan's gone, be able to utilize that talent, and then Daniel Bryan can come back at SummerSlam, have a huge heroic return, and you get Daniel Bryan on a second run there, going over big time. Because if you strip the belt, you make the viewers pissed. They're sympathizing with Daniel Bryan again. And then when he comes back at SummerSlam, we rejoice again when he defeats whoever to regain the championship, or he comes in and beats the hell out of the Authority, or whatever it is. I think there's something there that they could work with. I think it wouldn't be quite as effective, so to speak, to have Bryan hold both straps and be out, not defending them, and maybe not even on TV. I think both of those belts need to be on TV in order for us to even be interested in Raw. I mean, once the Cena, Wyatt, and Shield Evolution storylines die down, we really have nothing else, cooking so far. So I'm interested to know what you guys think. Should he be stripped? Should they keep the straps on him? If they keep the straps on him, what do they do with him in these upcoming months? Do they put him on TV and have him cut promos and whatnot? Or do they, have him disappear? I think the way they did it on Raw was essentially a way to have him poof into oblivion for a couple months, only to return. And, we didn't see the straps on him, so I think that leaves it open whether or not they strip him or not. That remains to be seen. Either way, we really, 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 all of us here at RopeBreakWrestling.com, we wish Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, a speedy recovery and hope to see him soon. I don't think this is career death. A lot of people think that this could be the end, or, what a terrible way. Don't you dare forget, the same thing happened to Stone Cold Steve Austin. I know people are going to say Stone Cold's injury was a hell of a lot more severe, and it was, or as far as we know it was. And, he was a hell of a lot more over. He's a legend, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't change the fact both guys were about to hit their peak, or were hitting their peak, had a huge career-threatening injury, and it was just poor timing. And I think that it will do good for Daniel Bryan if he gets the time off, rest up, come back, and still be over with the crowd. Because otherwise, down the road by SummerSlam, people might be fed up with Daniel Bryan, as they're already starting to be, and he might be stale by that point. Either way, like I said, interested to know what you guys say about it. Comment below, share this, because we want to hear what everybody else has to say. And tweet us at Rope Break Wrestling. Now, this has been episode 4 of Rope Break Radio. We're coming back next week with episode 5. We're going to be 1 week closer to Payback. We'll see what's going on with the World Heavyweight Championship, or the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and we'll discuss that then. In the meantime, you guys want to hear a topic? Tweet it to us. Comment it to us. You can message us on Facebook. We're available like that. Message us. Tell us how you want to get involved with the site, with the page, with the podcast. Let us know. We are a site by the fans, for the fans, and we want your help, your constructive criticism, and everything else that you think you can provide to us. Once again, I'm AuSSy. This has been Rope Break Radio, episode 4. Come back next week for episode 5. If you smell what the AuSSy is cooking.